and
alright.
Am I good?
done with the season.
Let's just check in. Okay, it says that we're connected live. It's the black screen. Okay, wait. Oh, oops, I forgot to.
So
We're
wait,
just-
black screen. We are reincarnated as slimes now.
There we go. Great
Pull me.
stage. There we go. Okay, we're live.
All right. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Outpost 1018 2021 March podcast. Yes, March. We had a few scheduling issues. We couldn't quite make it for April. So we're doing, or for March. So we're doing it on April 5th. Deal with it. Anyway,
Happy
for
Easter.
March. Yeah. Happy Easter as well. For March, we watched That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Season 2, Part 1. Because, 24 episodes, that's not a full season. No. Or, 12 episodes, sorry. 12 episodes, that's not a full season. It has to be half a season for somehow, even though it contained a complete arc. But we're just going to ignore it. It's Season 2, Part 1. Why don't everyone introduce yourselves? I am Neo Tokyo Tempo.
I am Getsuryu or Josh.
I am Kirill Neko.
Red Baron.
I'm Lois, but you can call me Striker Red.
All right. So, as a catch up for anyone who hasn't seen season 1 yet or the show at all, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is a light novel adaptation, as you could probably tell from the title, in which a man who's a successful businessman and is also a virgin and hasn't gotten laid, and for some reason that's like real. They bring that up a lot in the first episode of the first season.
It is central to the plot. Just kidding.
Yeah. He gets stabbed and he dies. And then he gets transported to another world. Whoa! An isekai, and it wasn't a truck. Anyway, he gets reincarnated into this world as a slime, the most lowly character in any RPG. But for some reason, he's actually super powerful and can do basically anything. And he creates a nation of all the different monster people, or whatever they're supposed to be called.
Demi-humans.
Demi-humans. And gets into a lot of different battles with different monsters and yada yada yada. And that brings us to and he makes like treaties with other nations and stuff like that. So that brings us to the second season. And the second season, there's war with another nation looming over his head. He had just saved like 5 children who were pulled in from another world. I forget exactly what was wrong with them, but I think that they were going to die for some reason. It's been like a year or maybe 2 years.
They were summoned intentionally.
Yeah,
And they couldn't handle the energy that they were given. And
yeah. And he took them to some like some demon lord or something and she saved him. But anyway, that was the first season, and the second season starts with wrapping that up. But we'll talk more about the plot later. What did you guys think about the animation?
So just going into like At a bit. I think the animation slightly improved. I think they got a little bit bigger of a budget. I think they knew what they wanted to do and what worked and what didn't. The fights seemed a little bit more congruent, and like a lot of the action scenes were really good. At least I thought that like visually it was appealing, and like seeing different races have like slightly different themes that kind of blended in like more of what the normal world would be. Uh, though stereotypical, a lot of it was pretty good.
Well,
Uh,
they definitely
Go
had a
ahead.
bigger budget, but the thing is, it's still 12 episodes. That's probably why. Um, it's a lot better than the first one. It's a lot more defining. All the characters has this. Uh, they all have a lot more feature set in terms of how they draw and how they act, how they animated like every single move. So they spent
Yeah,
money on that thing because it's Kodansha, and they know how to do that.
yeah, it definitely seems a lot more fluid. Or, I mean, okay, I don't exactly remember what the first season looks like, but the animation is quite fluid. The everything's very colorful. They don't do that thing where uh a lot of anime seems kind of desaturated with its color palette nowadays in comparison to stuff that's older. They don't do that at all. All the colors pop. That it's very nice looking. Um, Environments very well done. The different races are very distinct from one another, despite them all having to be humanoid in some way, but also be some sort of monster. Um, so it's all quite well done. The you can the facial expressions um are also good. You can always tell what kind of emotions that the characters are trying to express through that.
I would say another really good thing that wasn't as much in the first season was like the atmospheres felt better too. While like the first season it was like, oh, like there's rot and decay, everything's red. Um, in this you had like some very dark scenes. You had like some purple, like comparatively to like a death nut, like whenever like everyone was dying. It felt more kind of realistic in that approach rather than there's just like all this magical red energy flying around. Um, on top of that, like the morning after kind of like effect where it's just like you get like the blood sunrise kind of effect. Um, and it wasn't the stereotypical atmospheres of just like, oh, there's magic, so everything's gonna be like red and or like purples and all that. It was more like how the environment should look.
What do I have to say about everything that has been said about this second season? Mm, well, it's gonna be more livelier in some aspects compared to the first season. I feel like the first season was more of an attempt more than anything else, but the second season is slightly improved, albeit plot wise we're gonna get into the red elephant of the room, which happens to be the plot, which is a little we'll talk about that
Where
I
later.
get it.
yeah,
We'll
Yeah.
get there. Yeah.
But the environment, as always, Kadensha knocks it out of the park. I actually like the atmosphere. Yes. Also, Yeah, the color palette is very good. Like it's very tastefully done. I
Yeah.
don't think
I just need to add one thing. While the animation is good, there's something about the style just is off. If that makes any sense.
it became a bit more cartoonish in comparison, wasn't it?
Yeah, I kind of noticed that. Like the episode where we can mention spoilers, right?
Yeah.
So when he's sacrificing all those bodies from the invading army to do a devil summoning or a demon summoning, rather, like the dog's animation, like looking back and forth, was like somebody flipped a piece of cardboard over. It didn't turn around naturally, you know.
There's a little bit of issues where you kind of want it to flow like the first season. Like if you're on a low budget, it's like how much changes do you want to have moving forward? And like definitely whenever it came to like the I cannot remember his dog's name. But like,
Ranga.
yeah, Ranga and the other wolves, like you could tell that like they had that same animation issue. A lot of the goblins still had some of that same animation issue. But the newer characters that they're adding in don't. And it's one of those things that like as a budget increases on a show, it usually starts stepping up, and then they don't know what to do with the other parts. So that tends to happen a lot. Like if you didn't notice, like the hairstyles of like the newer characters were a lot sharper than the older characters too.
Oh,
Well, kinda, because Ragnar had like the first 5 episodes, I believe. The fur looked a lot better than the first season. There was a lot more defining, like a shade, I guess, of them.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Does anyone have any?
Part of that is, no, sorry.
No, keep going. Actually,
Yeah, the best part of that is we see a lot more Sheena on, so that's more welcome.
Yeah.
They knew what the audience actually wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
They are cultured. They are cultured type of beings, if you know what I mean.
speaking
A
of
lot
that,
of culture.
what are your thoughts on the character designs themselves?
Oh man, it has been a little sillier, but that's the point of this show. It's supposed to be like a balance of seriousness and being really fucking silly at times. Albeit,
I mean,
personally,
I did
personally,
like a lot of the Beast characters. I will say that. But like the three that just came from Japan randomly, they just felt like they were just thrown in, and that was a little off-putting. But like
they were
go ahead.
they were also a bit blander in comparison to like the other characters. Like you just throw in a bunch of shades of brown and just call it a day.
Yeah,
Oh, come on, man.
It's like what would happen if you made a background character actually have powers, and then that was them. But yeah, there was a few good characters at least. Like I like the newer designs for some of the other nations.
Speaking of newer designs, how about the fact that dragon just kind of turns into a generic buff dude?
Oh my lord!
I was sad. That was a very sad moment for me because I was excited to see that dragon again, and then it was just like, oh, you're a generic buff asshole, and that's gonna be the ending. Fuck us.
Yeah, they couldn't keep Eldora as a fucking tsundere dragon. They had to keep him as a tsundere, muscle-bound meathead. What the fuck was that about?
Well, the thing is, all the characters kind of getting, well, main guy turns out to be like a also dude, like humanoid. So same thing here, really. I don't know, like they I think it's a problem with the actual story because like whoever wrote that thing does not understand how anything works, and it's pretty clear, especially in the second season, because they try to introduce this, and we're gonna talk about it in a story spoilers, but like the geopolitics of that thing is completely off the rocker. It's bad. It's like, again, it's a 2-year-old trying to cram down all the geopolitics in the film in the season. It's like, it's so bad. Same thing with this, because he just couldn't, or she, I don't know who wrote the actual story, but the idea that somehow you have to turn every single character into a humanoid is just like come on. Like, just
There let's if that's it with the animation, let's move on to the sound design and music.
Can I start first?
Yep.
I honestly was not feeling the intro or the outro songs at all. I tried. I really tried, but really they were not as good as the first season when it came to the the songs themselves. That being said, the some of the sound effects were actually fairly realistic, especially the neck snapping.
You know what bothers me about the intro is it very prominently features Milim, and she's barely even in the damn season. She's barely in there at all.
Well, I'm wondering if part 2 is gonna have the same intro. That would be the only thing.
no, probably not.
I highly doubt it.
All right, so I'll just say it. I'll say it. Some anime shows do that with intros to hint at future events. And having read the manga, she's going to be central to the plot because she's going to do something that's going to basically throw the geopolitical structure of that world into chaos.
I mean,
Okay.
she's kind of the
She has a plot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean that's kind of obvious from like the last episode of this season half.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
I'm
I'm
starting a random war. Like, I don't. Why is she starting a random war? I don't know.
We'll get there.
War. Yeah, we'll get there.
I know why she's doing it, but I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So
anyway,
I mean, opening ending is the same shade of slime, so it's like generic pop music. Well, kind of generic. It's fine. It's like it's not offensive. It's kind of bad, but at the same time, it's like, who cares? It's the opening.
the way that I kind of like put it is, whenever an anime gets like super popular, and this is one of the more popular ones, if conventions were going on, there would be all of these characters being cosplayed. Rimuru would be one of the most cosplayed at the moment. I know that I have a group of friends that are all planning the cosplay from the show. Like, it's it's popular. The more popular something is, the more likely it's going to get a very, very poppy soundtrack for its opening and closer, because that's the least offensive thing that they can put in there to make the most people buy the soundtracks in Japan. Just, that's why I don't care. Like, if it was like them taking a risk on like a lower show, like, that's whenever I get like, well, this should be better. But for what it was just like, we know what we're getting.
It's not only that, it's just like they have enough budget for animation, but they had nothing for music and sounds.
Yeah.
Because if you have a music and sounds, you hit up the what's the name? Zakua Boy and Iman. It's like those are two like the top tier folks. Or Kana, same thing really. But
Yeah.
Hey, we should talk about the voice acting real quick. If you guys want to, otherwise.
I mean, it's I mean, as far as the voice acting goes, it's like as far as I didn't see the English dub.
Neither did I this time.
That's quite something, I guess.
Well, because they only had 3 episodes out in English. So
Oh yeah.
I think it's 5 at this point already,
Yeah,
or
but
4.
whenever I watched the early
Who cares?
episodes,
It's English dub. It sucks.
I was just like, I'm just gonna watch it all in Japanese. I'm not gonna be able to watch it all in it's no. I'm not doing that to my head right now. I'm just gonna watch it all in Japanese. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. As far as the English or the Japanese audio goes, it's fine. It's about the quality you expect from Japanese voice acting. It's good.
Well, there's no switcheroo in the roles, so it doesn't matter. All the returning cast is there. All the new guys and girls are fine. So English dub, kind of same shit. So
I will
I-
say the new demon just reminds me a little too much of like Sebastian from Black Butler, and it was just kind of
Yeah.
like I was like, how did he make it into this universe? Like, wait a minute.
I do find
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I do find it interesting that Takahito Koyasu is the guy who plays Clayman because the man has been well known for voicing iconic villains, like for example Dio Brando in the JoJo series.
Jotaro. Yeah. Yenchaku.
Yeah.
Yenchaku. He has that voice.
And Boss Bao from RE0. Well, not really a villain, more like but you can tell. You can tell which voice actor is which. And who else regarding Miho Kasaki, who played Rimuru. Well, that has to be like the most famous voice she ever had because
Oh, crud. I messed up. You're talking about the younger Dio voice actor, the one who's got the deep voice like this. Like the. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy-
Oh, that one.
yes. Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Let's see
yeah,
what else
it-
we got here.
how about the actual like soundtrack for the show? What do you guys think about that?
All right.
it's kind of generic.
Yeah.
There's nothing to stand out.
It's not special.
So
Generic isekai has generic sounds. Go figure.
Yeah,
Well,
typical
I don't know,
instrumental for the most
I
part.
feel like I there was definitely a tune in there that I did like enjoy what was playing, and I did notice it, but I don't think it played enough during the season for it to really stick in my head and for me to like be able to hum it.
Yeah, there was like two of those for me where it was like there was two really good ones, but like it was just in like one or two scenes where you're like, oh, this is good music, and then you're like, where'd the music go? And then you just didn't care about anything else. Like it wasn't enough to like push it over the edge, is what I'll say.
Yeah. All right. If that's it for sound, let's move on to the characters. Let's we're not going to start with Rimuru because that's going to be a whole can of worms.
We can start with
I like the
sorry, it's-
adventurers. No, I'm just gonna go first on this one. I like the adventurers.
Oh, you mean L?
I think so. The
Yeah.
the three humans who become friends with him, and he gives one of them armor and says, "Hey, spread some BS, become famous." That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked those guys. They seem well. I guess only one of them was really particularly prominent.
Yeah,
Um,
L because she's a princess from a kingdom, but then the two guys that are with her are actually her bodyguards. So she wanted to be an
No,
adventurer.
I thought the one that was it was one of the dudes that was prominent. The chick barely even had a line.
Well, I mean from
Yeah, the dude's also in the intro.
Yeah. What was the dude's name?
I gotta look that up.
There is so many characters in the show. I'm scrolling.
Yeah,
Through. I'm like, oh
I'm
god.
already
I'll
bad.
find it. Don't worry, I'll find
I'm
it.
already bad with names, and there's a ridiculous amount of characters.
It's a Camel's Party.
too much.
Oh, that's not him.
let's see, Benimaru. Benimaru just being Benimaru as usual.
Wait,
I
it's
can-
not Camel's Party. It's the. Hold up, I know which. It's the. I mixed up the two.
It's not the chick with the two guards, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the one I was talking about was Elle, who was the. Now that what I found interesting is that the fact that she hides the fact that she's an elf really well,
Yeah. And then she's
because
a
she's
princess.
technically
Yeah.
she's also a princess from Elf Kingdom.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many fucking characters.
We could try.
I
Way
can't
too
even
much.
find him in this
Yeah.
list here. Anyway, let's.
I mean, there's like two of them that I like personally. Sophia and Shion, obviously.
What about Shuna?
I mean,
Yeah, I
Eh.
liked.
I mean,
I like Shuna. She was actually a somewhat competent advisor.
Yeah. And there's
uh,
also the part when she how should I say this? She annihilates. How should I say this? She cancels out the special skill that one of the Japanese characters did.
yeah, that was actually a pretty cool moment. She canceled out the special skill, and then she just walked in and just explained what she was doing, and was like, "Yeah, that's not very impressive."
Yeah, you need to get the fuck out of here right now.
Yeah, the one who thought that he was actually evil.
Fucking Kirara, man.
Man, let's take one moment to talk about the villains or lack thereof.
well,
Well, it's setting up for Clayman.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there we go. That's I don't want to say it, but yeah.
yeah.
So,
Clayman is like, he's like the big baddie behind everything, but he doesn't show up that much in this season. So
he was
If at
like
all,
just sitting in his
actually.
office, basically talking on his cell phone to all of his minions. Yeah.
He's
yeah,
drinking wine, pulling all the strings.
Lewis was correct. It is L's. L's party is the most. I like them the most because, like, at first you think they're just regular adventurers. Turns out there's a lot more to it.
They're all broken. Yeah. Yeah. I
And
just want
then
to point
there's
out
the,
that one of
There's the
Clayman's.
kingdom itself. Go ahead.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say one of Clayman's his minion. His name is Footman, and
Footman.
But man,
and there's
that-
there's just a lot of jokes that you can make around
Yeah,
that.
that-
More so
it's not
because
who
he is a he's one of the gestures too.
it's not who I am underneath the shoe that matters, but what shoe brand I wear.
But yeah,
Can't believe the dude's name is Shoe Brand.
Oh.
God damn.
But man,
Footman. Anyway.
no, wait, I got it. It's not the foot underneath that matters, but the shoe that I wear. There we go, sir.
yeah.
Well, he probably will shove a shoe down spot. Well, actually, no. Smile. Slimes don't have a.
How do you know that, huh?
Well,
Practice.
this show,
Practice, my friend.
this show seems to have just a whole lot of characters with very small roles, all orbiting around Rimuru.
Yeah.
Because it's based on the visual novel, and that visual novel is started all the way down to 2015, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I gotta mention something. Rising of the Shield Hero and this one in particular, I noticed something very special about them. They're the only two visual novels. I'm sorry. Light. It's light novel, right? Right, Neko, where
Yeah,
it's just
it's a light
text.
novel.
Yeah, it's a light novel.
Yeah,
It's a book.
they both started as light novels, and they both have projects that spoil the entire friggin' thing. Like, without going into it, Shield Hero has a side novel called Spear Hero. It's like the redemption of the Spear Hero, and the redemption of the Spear Hero tells you how Shield Hero ends, and he's still working on how it ends. And Reincarnated as a slime, best part. it has a side thing going that shows you Rimuru's kingdom like hundreds of years or something into the future. And it's like, okay, so what you're telling me is all these people that just died in this chapter are going to survive. Thanks for spoiling it. It's like,
Well, it has
okay,
like
so-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spin-offs. It's a novel spin-off, mind you.
yeah.
And it's like,
Uh,
I mean, they're gonna make a lot of money.
there
They're
there
gonna make
is
the money.
Yeah.
All of this stuff is being made.
there is
All right.
one
Also-
other that I can throw into that list just really quick.
Yeah, here's the-
Sword Art Online has Excel World, which is 20 years in the future. Anyway,
Well, yeah.
Alright,
I did not. I did not
let's
notice.
talk. Let's just talk
yeah,
about
let's talk
Rimuru.
about let's just talk about.
The big slime in the room. All right, I hate Rimuru. I hate him.
Oh yes.
Oh boy.
He is too fucking perfect. Almost every decision he makes results in everyone's lives getting better and everyone getting happy and
He
his
could do
own
no
life
wrong.
getting better. And he whenever he meets someone, they seem to like him for no reason. Even when they're his enemy, they still seem to like him for no reason.
You're not too bad for a slime.
Or are at least impressed by him.
I mean, he's
Um,
a Mary Sue, so it's like, meh.
Yeah, yeah,
The,
that's
but
exactly
here's
what
the-
I'm describing.
I
There
agree
is
with you, but
a-
I gotta push back a little bit because in this season they actually show that he basically capable of freaking genocide because he just murders the entire army
Well,
in a cold
I mean,
blood.
look. If listen, if all you've been doing, and the thing in the manga, I forget if this detail was in the show, but in the manga, I remember the dwarven king warning him, saying, "Look, when you addressed my public, when I took you out to talk to to introduce yourself to my citizens, you were very, very, very humble about it.
It
Don't
is.
do that.
It actually did make it in the anime.
Yeah, awesome.
He said his speech
He
was
was
too
being
short. He was too humble, and he was too nice. Like it was just.
Yeah. It's so like if you all you've been doing is Neko, this is the genocide. Wait, whoever said it was. Anyways,
Yeah, it was me. Yeah.
It was me who
So-
said it was a genocide as well, but
Yeah,
okay,
I
so
got it.
let me just say the thing I'm trying to say. So imagine you've been kind to everybody you've met in this, or you've been trying to be chill with every party you've met, and then out of nowhere, this party that was previously friendly towards you, the moment you get done doing the thing that they asked you to, which is to you offered to save those kids' lives. The moment you're no longer useful, they're going to wipe you out. They're going to wipe out everyone you care about, and they're going to wipe out everything you've built. Yeah, no, it's not genocide at that point. When someone's attempting to genocide you and you genocide them back, that's not genocide anymore. That's just that's just like it's canceling out. So it doesn't show that he's willing to wipe out innocent people. It shows that he's willing to go that far to defend the people he cares about. But it is very much a Mary Sue thing because then he brings them all back to life. Yeah.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
is,
We'll get to that in a minute.
there is a
Um,
male equivalent. It's called Gary Stew.
Same shit.
Yeah,
I
same
know.
same shit.
Yeah.
It. Anyway. Yeah. I just don't like him. He's just too powerful. Very rarely do you ever feel like he's in danger. And even when he fails, like his failure is just reversed. It's just like what, like how am I supposed to get invested in this guy if I never feel any tension. I just feel like when I watch the show, and I see Rimuru, I feel like I'm supposed to be intravenously drip fed dopamine.
Because
You do
it's
get
a
that feeling.
self-insert light novel. The reason why all of the stuff that you're describing happens is because the writer's like, oh, we can sell a lot more copies by not just doing anything with the main character. Just make him OP because some people like it. Because you don't really have to pay
Well,
attention
it's
to
also just-
any details.
eh,
Also, you can skip a few visual novels, like the little things that they sell, and just don't pay attention to the like intermediate ones. So you can get a first volume and a volume 15. Nothing happens.
Neko,
So-
you weren't here for it. This is before you joined the podcast. We covered Magi Sinbad's adventure.
Yeah,
I was
And,
gonna mention that, but it was as a fact.
Go ahead,
AJ.
Lewis, then I'll go. No, you go ahead, and I'll go.
Yeah, we found the same kind of effect that Rimuru has on Sinbad. He's too overpowered. He rarely has any flaws. The guy's a total man. Gary's too. Basically, he doesn't really feel like he's in danger because he knows what he's going to get into and how he's going to fix it.
Yep.
RJ, go ahead.
All right. So all right. I think it was a Neo Tokyo that brought this up during the Magi review. Weren't you the one that said it gave you a Chrono Trigger vibe? One of you said it. I think it was you, but yeah, you said it gave you a Chrono Trigger vibe. Well, that's a very correct comparison because when you're playing a video game, especially from that era, it's a bad idea to make the player feel powerless and like entirely powerless. So their character becomes centric to the plot. Chrono Trigger did this, Chrono Cross did this. And Rimuru is very much like a video game character. A person playing a video game character. Like, whereas with Overlord, it was the whole thing with Overlord is like, a gamer is transported into a fantasy world that's almost identical to the game he played. This is like that, but it doesn't have the correct premise. It doesn't have, hey, this guy was a gamer, he died, his soul went into a realm similar to his game. This is literally just, he died, and now he's in a fantasy world.
I think part of the issue, whenever we're just talking about this, and just kind of to wrap this up, is Rimuru and the Great Sage are two separate characters, and Rimuru is invulnerable because of the Great Sage. The Great Sage just doing all of the calculations, figuring out everything for him. So he's like, oh, I can just do this, da 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 da. And it's like, oh shit, I'm in danger. Great Sage, analyze. And then the Great Sage does everything. That's why, like, even though like it was just completely reversed over, the Great Sage having that moment where it was like, it's like, was there anything I could have done better? And it's like, no data. Like, it's like, how could I have done things better? No data. And it's just like that hopelessness of just like, I fucked up and like there's nothing I could have done about it. Like there's no way I could have seen this coming. No one could have seen this coming unless you know all of the geopolitical things. Like, this is bullshit. Like I should be able to save everyone. I'm this basically god and just everything sucks right now. And that's why whenever there was that moment where it was like, oh shit, I'm fighting someone that could actually kill me, like, I'm just gonna fucking run. Like, that made Rimuru a better character in those moments. It just sucks that it's like, oh, and now Rimuru's Demon King. Now he's even more powerful. So we're only gonna be able to compare him to other Demon King or like Demon Lords or whatever. And whenever we're looking at that, it's like he was already basically on point with Malim, with power, and it's like, okay, so add his power and then add those powers to it. And it's like, okay, so what's a fight between Malim gonna look like? What's a fight between Clayman gonna look like? Those are the only fights that we can get from now because you can just wipe out armies. All of them can wipe out armies. And is he gonna be even stronger than the dragon at this point? And that's where I think the character flaws. It's one of those I've had this issue with card games where in like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, there's just this gigantic power creep where like in the first beginning you play a game out and it's like 10 turns. And then now it's down to like 3 for all those games. And that's all this feels like. It's just a giant power creep of he just got too strong too quick.
Yeah. So the plot armor is too real.
Yeah, That's really the ultimate issue is like Rimuru fights someone and there's no tension, you don't feel anything because it doesn't truly feel like he's in danger. That's really the big issue. So yeah, that was a pretty on point analysis. Let's move on to the plot.
Ooh,
The plot
there's
is-
a lot of plot.
Oh
Especially on Shion's part.
Yes,
Right,
that was. She might not be central to the plot, but she has plenty of plot. Yeah, I get it.
Mhm. He knows what's up.
yeah. No, with that. That was what I was.
I realized that I was muted for that. Her death was very essential to the plot. It got him to become a demon king to save the titties. I mean, like that, you know.
You mean save his friend? Yeah, save his friend.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
his friend. Right.
You want to? Hey, you want to bet? I'm just joking. But you want to bet money that like the creator of this show was like, shit, this was a bad idea. How am I gonna sell figurines?
Fuck! I should have killed off the old man. Damn it! Like,
I should have killed out that fucking gumbling
You
little
know what's
No.
shit.
weird?
no,
Hey,
you
how about-
should have killed off
how
the
about-
fucking what's his name? Gabiru.
Gupta.
How
You know
about
what's weird is how the old man. It's weird.
Anybody to make the character seems worth it.
Am I?
I don't know, make a good plot out of it. No. That's
Am I
too
remembering this
hard.
correctly? Does the Dwarf King know the old man? I remember I could have sworn because of it sword fighting or some shit. He knew them,
Yeah.
knew him or something.
Yeah, he did.
It I don't know. I do kind of I do kind of like the plot on a macro level. Like I feel like it would be a pretty interesting plot, like if they just kind of tidied up and fixed up some of the geopolitical stuff, and then had a less overpowered character be central to it.
I was gonna say back real quick to the power creep. The whole reason I even brought up Sinbad is like that OVA felt like a condensed version of this power creep because it's like he starts off, he's got decent skills, he's already got a special ability or two, and then he goes from that to Super Saiyan 4, and then he goes from Super Saiyan 4 to Super Saiyan God, and it's just like, bruh, I get this is an OVA, but what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, and there's the fact that he goes full super ultra instinct.
Yeah.
Well, Sinbad was worse because he was like 5 years old, and for some reason he was able to he was like a more competent ship captain than his father was, or something.
At 5 years old, he had precognition. He could see the future.
Yeah, but anyway, he was able to. He had really good eyesight, and he could see the script from 20 miles away. But anyway,
Well, this one has a magic vision, so hey.
I
There
mean,
you go.
I mean, it does, but at least it's explained.
Well,
Like,
fair enough.
So Sinbad at some point, Neko, I'll see.
All right, let's
if we can get you to
stop
watch.
talking.
No.
about
This has to do with slime.
Sinbad.
It has to do with the
I
slime.
know the show. Yeah. you
Okay.
don't have to
You've
do
already
it.
seen Sinbad.
Yes.
Okay. I got you. No, it's just the intro said he was born with this gift, but like that wasn't explained. With Rimuru, at least it's explained. Like
Yeah.
Still bad.
Oh yeah, it is still bad.
Still bad.
Like it still removes tension from the show. But anyway, why don't you talk about some of the geopolitics, because you had issues with it.
Oh boy, it's again, it's like 2-year-old trying to explain the intricacies of all of the geopolitics within the one region, and it's just bad. It's like, oh, Rimuru wants everyone to be happy and cool and stuff. It's like, he doesn't want to go to war and stuff. Oh yeah, okay. It's Look, the moment any of these nations will realize that there is a competitor, especially economical one, which, by the way, was addressed in the show when they were talking about booze, while Shinano was drunk. The moment that would have happened, they would have just clamped down and ganged that crap out of that nation immediately. Because it's one address in the show, it will become a international hub of economical success because of the roads and stuff.
Yeah.
The moment that happens, everyone wants a piece of that stuff. Like, I mean,
And they also Rimuru as a very weak leader because
Yeah.
he wanted to
Yeah.
get along. He thought that getting along with everyone could actually make him a lot stronger. No, the
Yeah.
problem is they see it as a sign of weakness. The when the dwarf king bore his ass up for that mistake.
That was a lot more foreshadowing than you would have thought, you know?
Yeah, that probably honestly like Rimaru's sort of failure in that was probably by far the best part about the season.
He was too trusting.
Him being shown as being too naive and too trusting was probably somewhat, it was better than just watching him overpower everything over and over again, even though it was event inevitably going to happen anyway. That part was at least interesting, but even then, it feels like he just has too much lucky success in the geopolitics area.
There's a couple issues with it. He is creating trade extremely quickly, which whenever there's a new product, creating trade routes is fine. And there wouldn't be that many issues. It's whenever it becomes a central hub that's whenever it becomes an issue with other nations and such. Whenever they're starting to lose profits, which was kind of what this is all about at this point. However, it's not really luck that he's doing it. It's just the fact that he found really good craftsmen. Like I want to just kind of give the dwarves their credit for this too. Everything that he is saying, the dwarves are finding a workaround with like rune stones and finding like it's like, oh, you can do this, and then like he's trying to explain it best he can. And then these craftsmen are like, well, we can figure this out. So there is that aspect to it too, that the people that are working with him are creating these great accomplishments just off of his basic knowledge that he has about how things work at even just like a high school fundamental level of like what an aqueduct is and what plumbing is and how hot and cold water can have different faucets and such. And like them working around all of those little like things where he's coming up with these ideas, it's just like that's going to create a harbor for trade because now all of these new products are out, and they're just jumping way ahead of everyone else by doing it. So I don't think the concept of what's going on is bad with the geopolitical part. I think that whenever you're getting into those discussions, it's always going to be hard to explain, and simplifying it for the audience so that they don't have to think too hard about all of these things is sometimes just easier, where you're just like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense, sure. Because, whenever you're going into geopolitical anything, it's just going to become a nightmare and a mess to organize and figure out. So
I wanna ask a very important question here. Was that show of trustiness and generosity ultimately Rimuru's weakness?
I mean, it was kind of shown to be, because that's what leads to that's what leads to the climax of the season, and that's what leads to the lesson he learns from it, or at
Yeah.
least his decision at the end.
Yeah, it's
Because
I'm in fact, let's go into that. So we have a spoiler warning on this. So
mhm.
if
If
so
anyone's
it,
watching, please take a piss break or something, or mute it.
or I don't know, you shouldn't have clicked here if you didn't want spoilers. Anyway, Rimuru gets invaded by a nearby kingdom. I forget its name.
Zealots?
Yeah.
They do
And
that.
and while his while his kingdom is being invaded, he's being held down by some high level warrior that has a magic suppression field around him, so that he's not so overpowered, and he's actually in danger of dying, and it's quite a good fight. There's actually tension. I kind of woke up when I watched it.
Hinata Sakaguchi of the Western Saints Church.
Mhm. Anyway, but anyway, while this is happening, there's also a magic suppression field over his kingdom, over his city, and they get attacked, and it's a total bloodbath. A lot of people die, including some important characters. Now, you would think that this would be an amazing story opportunity. Now, Rimuru's naivete got a whole bunch of his own people killed, and now he has to live with it for the rest of his life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yes or no?
nope.
Just voting.
Yep, nope, just kidding. Rimuru is going to absorb the souls of the invading army and then become a demon lord. And because all the souls of his people were trapped in the suppression field, he can just, now that he's a demon lord and he has ridiculous amounts of power, he can just bring he can just put all the souls back into the bodies and bring them back to life.
I just want to add this in. So there was two weird things that happened during that. Which was like they're like, oh, there's a 3% chance this will work. It's like, okay, cool. Like, how did you know it was like a 3% chance? Whatever. I was kind of hoping that it would just fail. Like, just be like, oh, all this work and then just failure. It's like,
well, at least I'm a demon lord now.
yeah, it's like that's what pushes him into actually becoming a demon lord. And then whenever the Great Sage changed into whatever the hell it's called now,
It's like he said,
yeah,
bitch, I'm taking my chances.
well, and then he was like, we haven't done the calculations, but with like this new power, I'm sure it's high. Like the chances are higher, and it's like no, the chances were did the souls like dissolve or like go somewhere else. Like even if like he resurrected half of the people, like that weight would have been better. And then just did you notice that the demon was like, okay, wait, you don't have enough power to do this yet. Like here, sacrifice like my two friends right now. And it was like, oh, okay. And then just sacrifice them and just added their power. And he's like, yeah, that's enough now. It's like the convenience that it's just like two random demons he just needed to sacrifice to like add a little bit more power. I was like,
yeah,
Yep.
Well,
like, why do we even have to sacrifice two demons right here? But like, I guess it's the idea of like you're just showing how unfeeling he is at that point, where it's just like, oh, 2 more lives, fuck it, whatever, just come here. And then
Yeah,
also, it's like there has to be like some consequence of that too. That now, like, he's a demon lord, and he just used 2 demons magicules to like go into his entire fucking city of dead people that just died. Like, there has to be a consequence of that, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Wrong show. Wrong
See-
show, dude.
See, okay. See, there's that joke about why bringing dinosaurs back to life is a bad idea, and how there's a series of movies that show you why bringing dinosaurs back from the dead is a bad idea. There is an untold amount of legends, lore, scripture, and movies, including sci-fi movies, that tell you why using demonic energy is a bad idea.
Especially to resurrect anything, period.
Yeah,
in the
Pet
first
Cemetery,
place.
for fuck's
But
sake.
here's
Pet
the thing.
Cemetery.
The guys who made that thing has an ultimate power in writing called being a Japanese light novelist. So none of your stupid rules apply.
Well,
You
you know, I want to touch on something that Josh mentioned. He said, you know, there's a 3% chance of this working. So is that? Here's what I don't get: is that 3% like an all or nothing deal?
Yeah.
Like,
It was.
Well, that's what I was saying is like it would have been so much better if like it's like, oh, he just didn't have enough power. Maybe he just saved her and like maybe like 3 others, and then like everyone else just kind of like rose as like zombies and like fell over and died again or something, or like something like that. Like, even if like he only saved a couple of them, like that would have been like a really good moment still.
In the
But
manga,
saving everyone, it was just
in the manga, because the Kingdom of Falmouth, the guys that declared war on them for messing, they felt that they're messing with their trade by making items that they're also making. Anyways, the King Edamalus, the guy that like was behind all this, in the manga, his priest was like specifically said like, "What have you brought into this world?" He was horrified. Like he basically said, "This slime doesn't understand. He brought a primordial demon into our world." In other words, the reason those 2 demons were sacrificed was because they were lower ranking than the one that was left alive.
Yeah.
That one was basically like second to Lucifer level of hell ranking. And what you said is exactly on point. What should have happened is the people that came back to life should have shown some sign of personality change, or just physically appearing different, as to imply, well, now Rimuru has essentially infected that world with, demon energy. But nope.
No consequences,
Yeah.
not my fault.
No
Right,
consequences whatsoever.
Well,
let's
no foul.
see. If nobody has any other takes, we should wrap this up.
All I can say is they got the kingdom got what they fucking deserve.
I will also just add, like, this is part 1. I am hoping part 2 is better. I am hoping. Like, I'm actually still excited for part 2. There's some things that make me very doubtful about it, but there's a lot of setup that makes me excited, and that setup is at least giving me some hope.
The part about Millennium
Yeah,
being
Millennium.
controlled by Clayman.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Maine being controlled by Clayman. Like the fact that there's a few wars that are gonna happen. The fact that he captured one of like the bishops or something. Like there's a lot of really good setup that's just now gonna start. The fact that the dragon is, even though very bad character right there design, that there's at least the dragon's out. Like, now we're gonna see like, oh shit, what happens whenever Rimuru and like this giant fucking like god dragon that everyone has an issue fighting, even the demon lords, like what's gonna happen now? So like there's that I'm excited about, and then there's this season wasn't great.
I feel like this season was a total downgrade from the first one in some aspects.
Yeah.
But in some aspects, the first season was not exactly as good as the second one when it comes to the plot because of the escalation. Because now shit's getting real.
So, all right.
I'm
I
looking
mean,
forward for it.
I think on that note, I usually start with my review first, so we'll just go there. So basically, just copy and paste what I just said. But I did enjoy a lot of parts. I did enjoy some of like the comedic parts early in the season. I did enjoy the idea of like now they're setting up the trade routes, now they're getting things done. That there are consequences of, well, now, you have these other countries going, wait, you're gonna mess up our economies. I like a lot of the ideas of how they did the technological workarounds. And it looks
It's
like it's gonna
Minecraft.
start getting, yeah, it looks like it's gonna start getting darker because a lot of the elements of the show are now going into that darker, more messed up kind of realm with him having like a demon servant, with having like uh, they weren't the goblins, the other four, the orcs or whatever they were.
Yeah, the orcs.
Yeah, where like they were getting like way more like powerful and like more pissed off and being able to like stand toe to toe, where they seem a lot more like I hate to say the word edgy, but yeah.
And then there's the lizards as well.
Yeah,
Um,
they seem more like it looks a lot more like it's gonna set up for a darker fantasy at least, and I'm hoping it goes in that direction. But this season was all set up. That's all it was. It just felt like all set up, like um, it's getting ready for something better. So I'm gonna give it a 7 because I still enjoyed it, but I saw a lot of flaws.
Neko.
Uh, I mean, I don't know. It's probably. I'll start with the number. It's probably 6 at best. The first one was probably 7.2, something like that. But I would say that I'll actually bring up the quote. All hope abandon ye who enters here, because from now on it's going to be oof. It's going to get even better, quote unquote. It's just it's a downward spiral, unless they're gonna make him like I don't know, like a devilman or something, where he actually abandons everyone and everything, and just like, you know what, I'd rather be a bad guy and stuff, and just murders everyone. So, otherwise, if you like the previous one, you're gonna like this one. You're probably gonna love what's coming next. So, I mean, not gonna stop you from watching it. So, but yeah, it's 6.
All right, Striker.
well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the part where shit has officially hit the fan. Rimru's about to get red pilled, and he's about and more than demon pilled as well. He already
Right.
got demon pilled, so he's gonna get the
He
red
got
pill.
black pilled and then immediately became white pilled.
I think you missed the anime because we talking about slime, not a review of Healer, right?
No. So no, I said that. Well, go ahead, Louis. Sorry. I'll
right.
explain later.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest here. I wasn't exactly expecting this season to be as good as the first one in a couple of ways, but otherwise, Will said it best. It did send me a shot of dopamine at the age of my brain, and frankly, this is just a filler. Not just filler, but this is also a setup for what's going to happen in the second part, which is going to be when things are going to get really, really bad. We're going into war, like even more than usual with the Knights. No, not just the Knights, but the Clayman is getting his. Are we gonna keep watching this show? You bet your ass I am gonna be watching this. Honestly, 6.5. This is a good season, but in some aspects, but don't expect anything else from it other than the same old shit from the first season.
All right,
Oh.
RJ.
7.5. I was gonna give it a 7, but I like the story. And to explain about the black pill thing, so I did like how the main character felt like hopelessness and despair right before he went back to literally being himself again, but this time he knows he has Super Saiyan, not just but overall I thought it was okay. It's just could have been a little bit better. I don't mind Mary Sue characters as long as the world building is good enough and the storytelling's fun. So there's that. And I do like that his main weakness is how naive he is. So it's kind of like, you know, how most of us have had to find out the hard way just how like crappy the world can be and how crappy some people can be. And I like that. Like that it brought a tiny bit of realism to a character who's otherwise Super Saiyan 4 God mode or whatever.
No, in this case, he will probably go full Ultra Instinct.
Jake hasn't reached that yet. Let's just.
All right.
But yeah, but I do
well,
agree. I do agree.
All right.
Back at you.
So I didn't really have any expectations going into this. You know, I probably wouldn't have watched this unless we were doing it for the podcast. Is you know, the first season I thought it was okay. Some of the main complaints I have for this season I also have for the first season. I don't know what I said back in the first podcast. It was a long time ago. I don't know what my score was. But I mean, overall it's not horrible. I never was like moaning and groaning like, oh god, I gotta watch more of this crap. I mean, it's you know, it's kind of just self-insert, kind of huff dopamine fumes kind of deal. It's crap, but it's very well made crap. So I don't know. It's okay. I'll give it like a 6.
So
What's our average?
All right, so our average is a 6.6. I guess we'll go 6.66 just to say he became a demon king.
Ultra
anyway,
edgy.
extra edgy. I forgot to look up the Mal.
Pizza cutter levels of edgy.
all we need now is the soundtrack for Devil May Cry, and it's perfect.
I mean, obviously, like this is just airing, so like the Mal score is going to be a little higher than normal because
It's 836.
everyone's excited. Yeah, it's an 8. Well, it's an 8.37 on.
I have a bad feeling that the people from My Anime List are fucking chills. Let's be honest for a second.
Well, it's the average score from normal.
They're shells,
reviewers.
dude.
No, it's
No,
the average.
Every single one of them was paid. Every single one of them.
All 1,300. Sorry, 136,000. I cannot fucking read. People that
the studio, the studio gave him $5 and bought him ice cream.
That's probably more than the budget. Wait a minute.
They offered to give them like infinite slot, or no, like several thousand slots of gotcha rolls. Is getting.
Right.
They got
about this thing, right?
They got free Negevs and head pats.
They got like a box full of porn, straight up hardcore porn. Just
no, they didn't get porn. They got those figurines.
Those are kids.
They got
All right.
figurines.
But anyway, that was our podcast for March. I hope everyone liked it. And I hope everyone had a good Easter. And I hope everyone has a good April.
Enjoy your
See you
April.
later.
Yeah.
See you later.